Welcome to Florida. Check this out. Only you guys do like this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's make a toilet seat out of like seashells. Classic, dude. What is up with you in Florida, guys? Is this like a classic thing or is this a weird house?
I've never seen this.
Bullshit, dude. Come on.
I've never seen that or the Dallas.
Is this like a typical Florida house? No, this is kind of a funky one. Hey guys, welcome to in Lake Worth, Florida. This is a Subto acquisition. My first time walking here, checking it out. My asset manager, Heidi's been working on it. We're gonna go do a tour of the property. You're gonna see my genuine reactions, first time walking through the house, hoping it's ready to go. I already saw a problem, and I want you guys to make comments down below with problems you see as I walk through the property so that my team can see those things as well. I'm here with Jay Stars. He's holding the camera, so give him some love. His Instagram name, by the way, you guys should take a look at him. Jay Stars out here in Florida if you guys need content. This guy is killing it. So let's walk through the property. It's a new acquisition, subject to, which means what's crazy is I was talking to Kevin. Kevin's my security guard here in Florida. Here, let's highlight Kevin. Anybody that needs a security guard, this guy, he's Iranian, so you know he knows how to kick some ass. And look how tall he is. What are you, 6'8"?
6'8".
Hell yeah, 6'8". It's as easy for me to buy real estate as it is for other people to go and rent their apartment or rent their house they're living in. I've never seen this house before. I never had to talk to the homeowner. I never had to negotiate. Nobody ever checked my credit. I didn't have to put down payments down. Nobody checked my job history. Nobody checked my tax returns. Nobody even looked at my bank history. I'm into this house $0 out of my own pocket, and I'll tell you that story as we walk through the property, but that's the beautiful thing about Subject 2. Subject 2 allows me to take over somebody else's payments. Do you understand how that works, Kevin? He says no. Okay, so the way it works, I'll tell you real quick while we're here in front of the house. So you've got a car, you got a payment on that car?
Yes, sir.
Let's say you don't want that car, but you owe more on it than what it's worth.
Okay.
How do you sell it? You got to cut a check, basically, get rid of it, right? That's the story with this house. A lot of times homeowners will owe more money on the house than what it's worth, but the thing that they actually have of value is not the house itself, it's actually the debt that they've already applied for, have been approved for, it's already secured to the house. So I just go to them and say, can I just take over the payments? Just like I can go to you and go, hey, can I just take over your car payments? Pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
So I take over car payments. Subject 2 is that's the process. It's called Subject 2. So I can take over the payments on this house. Nobody checked my credit. Nobody looked at my job history. The seller doesn't even know who I am. What is cool is the other day, I met Graham Stephan. Shout out Graham Stephan. Put a link down in the description below for the Graham Stephan episode that I did. These guys are like, why would you teach everybody? Why would you go around the country and teach everybody your strategies? You know why I would do that? That's a good one. The world is big enough, but the biggest reason is because when I teach people how to do this stuff, they bring the deals to me. 7 years ago, I used to have to go find these deals. Now everybody in the country is learning these things from me. By the way, if you guys want to get my new book, it's called Wealth Without Cash with Bigger Pockets, link down below. There's a pre-order going on right now, but by the time this comes out, that pre-order will be gone. But please support your boy. I don't make any money on it. Bigger Pockets makes all the money, but I just want to give everybody the knowledge because I want to do deals with you. This actually came from somebody that learned how to do this from me, and they brought the deal to me. Today's my first time at the house. Never talked to the homeowner. Didn't have to talk to a real estate agent. Didn't have to talk to a bank. Didn't have to put a down payment down. Didn't have to go through job verification. Nobody checked my bank records, and nobody checked my tax returns. You have to go through more verification to rent a house than I did to buy this house. It's bonkers. So, anyway, welcome to the house, guys. Let's go through it. You know what we should do? Let's call Molly real quick before we go in here. Molly is on my team. She's my COO. This is the value of having a team. One thing I've been teaching lately is that Santa Claus doesn't make the toys. I'm Santa Claus.
Peace, Morby. I'm on a Zoom with Bo and Minnie.
Okay, great. Hey, real quick question. The Lake Worth property, what is our underlying mortgage interest rate and what is our payment?
Oh, hold on, please, for the interest rate. The payment is like $3,230. The interest rate, I believe, is in the 4s. Hold
okay,
on.
so 4% interest rate, $3,200 for this house?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the seller carry payment's $300 a month, but it's 0% interest.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, bye. Man, y'all, it's expensive to live in Florida, huh? Jay Star says, Kevin says,
Yeah.
$3,200 is my payment on this. In Arizona, my average house is probably like $1,500, $1,800. What's your guys' rent? $2,400? 1-1?
I got a 2-2 in downtown
Oh, okay, so this is good.
Yeah, no, this is good. But I mean, it's super fall.
So you guys are like, hell yeah, this is dope. $3,200. People in Arizona, well, you too, Armand. You're in San Diego. This is probably $6,000. Okay, so we're gonna go check it out. $3,200 is my payment. Now, what's great about this, what I liked about the property when I originally was interfaced with it, immediately I don't like a couple of things. This used to be a patio. This is pretty obvious, right? Can you guys tell this used to be a patio? They decided at one point that they were going to enclose this and make it additional square footage, which is fine. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is what it is. Nice hardwood floors. I do like that. Nice dining room. I love it. Now, what am I going to do with the property? So what we're planning on doing with the property, we were originally thinking about doing an Airbnb here. But then I decided I didn't want to buy any more furniture, and I'm kind of over Airbnb. Listen to me, I'm kind of over Airbnb. Okay, so it's kind of original. It's not in bad shape, but this is definitely rent ready, which I like. And when you rent a property, you can then rent the property as is, and you don't have to furnish it. And that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to be into this house with no money. Yeah, this is pretty dope, actually. Look at this. I'm a fan. How am I gonna make money on this, Kevin? I'm gonna give you a lesson. Come in the shot so people can see you, because we gotta see genuine reactions. So how do I make money on a house like this? Because I took over, now I have a $3,200 payment, right?
Yeah.
For most people that are starting out, they're like, oh, that's like nerve wracking. Oh my gosh, now I have the responsibility of a payment. But what am I gonna do to make money, and how do I make money?
I was gonna say Airbnb, but you said no, you're not gonna do that.
Because Airbnb, now I've got to put in, what, 30 grand probably in furniture? I'm kind of over that. And then what's happening is regulations coming out with Airbnb. So I really don't, like Atlanta, I have 15 Airbnbs in Atlanta. And then Atlanta last year ago, we're done with Airbnb. You have to have a license for every one of those properties. And it became a problem. And then I had to take those properties and transition them to like nurse homes and stuff like that. And I don't want to do that. So with a regular rental, nobody can tell me what to do. And also I don't have to furnish it. So we're gonna rent this for $4,000 a month. Molly just texted me. So I won't make a lot. I'll make probably a $600 spread every month, but then I've got vacancy, repairs, and all that kind of stuff. So I'll probably net $200, $300 a month. That's it. But how else do I make money?
Efficiencies.
Mm-hmm. Second way you make money in real estate, this is really important, so we're gonna rack this up. Editor. I want you to edit this, and I want you to throw $600 gross cash flow every month, but I'm gonna put $400 into like a safety account just in case a broken window or a roof issue or whatever happens. So I'm gonna net only $200 a month. But the second way that I make money in real estate is that the average appreciation in a market like this is that this house will go up about $15,000 a year. So I'll make $15,000 a year just by letting this house sit, okay? Now, the third thing that this property will do for me is that it will make it so I don't pay any taxes. You paid taxes last year?
Yes.
Armand, you paid taxes last year at your job. I don't pay taxes. A guy like me who has a lot of money, shouldn't I be paying a lot of taxes? The great thing is the third way we make money in real estate is because I own this real estate, the IRS gives me a tax benefit that allows me to wipe out my other income. My first year of owning this house, what I'll make, this is the crazy part, because everybody will criticize you and go, oh, you're only making $200. Well, I'm making $200 on net cash flow. I'm making $15,000 a year in growth. Then I bought this house for $450,000. I take that, and my tax benefit on this is amazing. I will save this much money in taxes in my first year of owning this. 57 grand. So let's say that I make $300,000 in a year, hypothetically. The average person making a $300,000 income is going to pay about $100,000 to $150,000 of their money to the IRS.
Yeah.
So by buying this house, immediately you get to keep $57,000 of that 100 and whatever you give to the IRS. So if you really think about it, do I care about the $200 a month, or do I care if you divide that into 12 months? That means every month I save $4,700 in tax obligation. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Because you own a security company, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're going to worry about, like, at the end of the year, I pay you and other clients pay you to hang out with them all day long and protect their but then you got to have a tax obligation.
Of course, yeah.
If you own real estate, you don't have to worry about that. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
It's freaking crazy. And so what would you rather have, J Stars? Would you rather have $200 a month in cash flow or that? Both. There you go. Both. That's the beautiful thing. Now, here's the greatest part about owning real estate, okay? Number 4 is that, you know, that debt, that $3,200 payment I have that Molly talked about? Who's paying that debt for me?
The person you sold to this from.
The person who I rent to is the one paying the debt for me. Okay, so while I sleep, these people are paying down all my debts and growing my equity in the property. Pretty freaking crazy. So this property will pay down probably about $7,000 a year. So not only did I make, let's add it up. I made $57,000 in tax benefits. I made $15,000 in appreciation. I made $2,500 in cash flow. And then I also made about $7,000 in pay down. So the mortgage goes down 7,000 bucks. So add that up, editor, and throw that on the screen, whatever that number ends up being. That's why you own real estate. And most people, they go, oh, I'm gonna go invest in crypto or this or that. Guys, this is tangible, like this is real. Why do I own real estate? Now I've just told you. And I had a friend of mine, Cody Sanchez, she criticizes real estate owners by saying, hey, you guys are so excited about making $200 or $300 a month in cash flow, but I'm not making $200 or $300 a month in cash flow. I'm making that plus appreciation, plus tax benefits, plus my tenant is building my wealth for me. The cool thing is my tenant who lives in this property, I'll never meet them. I'll never know them. The beautiful thing about creative finance is I never met the homeowner. I never met the person paying it out. I'm the one just making all the money. It's freaking bonkers, actually, when you really think about it. And I can own an aquamarine house, let somebody else pay it off for me. This house, by the time I'm retired, let's say if I'm a real estate guy and I want to buy 10 houses by the time I'm retired, this house will be worth probably $1.5 million in appreciated value by the time I retire. And somebody else will have paid that down for me, which is it's like absolutely crazy. That's the best retirement plan. All right, let's go in the backyard real quick and we'll wrap up the video. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you guys my actual reaction to this property. And this is a rental, right? So everything's in good working order. Do I love the paint colors? Do I love everything about the house? No, I actually don't. I don't mind the layout. What I don't like is, did you notice if there was a master bedroom or not? There's not a master bedroom. So I noticed that. I also noticed, and I don't know if this is like a traditional Florida thing, but is this how most people have their garage set up in Florida? No. So most people have like a garage in their house. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'm just in a weird part of town.
Lake Worth compared to the other parts of Palm Beach is definitely like a older town that didn't they didn't update as much. I guess they kept it way older inside and stuff like that.
Love it. Here's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a part 2 on this house right after this video. And I've got a little bit more detail of how I structure things. Newer air conditioning units, that's great. Good little backyard. Dude, I love this. Is this like another Florida thing? You guys just have random showers in the backyard, or is this just...
For no pool.
I wonder if you know what they must have had? They must have had like a jacuzzi at some point. All right, let's go in this garage.
There's a pool in the garage.
Oh, that'd be dope. Maybe there's a hot tub in here. Whoa, what the freak? Wow, dude. This is pretty cool. Oh, there's a drain in here. So this could be this could be like a whole nother house in here. I'm not gonna do that. Is that what you were meaning by that?
Yeah.
Like basically coming into the house and adding another living space?
Correct. So you have like a tenant in the front,
Yeah.
and a tenant in the back.
Here's the problem, right? So here's my strategy all the time. I look at a house like this and I go, if I can get into this house with no money, I don't even have to really clean it up, and I can spend more time looking for the next deal than I did for like coming in here and spending, what do you think I would have to spend to clean this up? New floor, probably add a kitchen in here and a little bathroom, probably 50 grand, right? So you spend 50 grand to get an extra, what, $1,000 a month that you could rent this for? Is it worth it? I think in the long run it is, but what else could I do with that same $50,000? And do I want to go through the hassle of dealing with contractors and all that kind of stuff to renovate this thing? The answer for me in my current situation is the answer is no. Could you do it? Yeah. And this is the difference between me and other investors. When I was brand new, I would get emotionally involved in this kind of stuff and I would say, oh man, this is great. I can squeeze this out. I can squeeze that out. But for me, I bought the house without talking to the homeowner, never had to negotiate with anybody, I didn't have to talk to a bank. I took over a 4% interest rate loan. I'll make all this money every single year on this property, and I didn't have to do anything, touch anything, didn't have to touch it up, didn't have to repair anything other than a couple of little things. So I'm into this property probably, we already have a tenant. They're moving in on February 1st, so that's what's today. That's like in a week. So here's what I'm really into this property. I'm into this property one payment because the house has been vacant since I bought it. And I'm into this property probably $300, $400 in cleaning and like little batteries and stuff like that into the house. So I'm into $3,700 to own this house. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. A house that will make me, over my lifetime, this house will put about $1.5 million into my retirement account, and I didn't even have to qualify for it. And that's the beautiful thing about Subject to Real Estate. So if you guys wanna learn more about what Subject to Real Estate is all about, there should be a link down below to what is Subject to for an in-depth breakdown of that. And what we're gonna do is I have this really interesting thing to talk about for about 3 minutes. I'm gonna tell you guys the structure that I made with the homeowner that sold this house to us. It's very, very interesting, and we'll see you in that video.